Welcome to Coffee and Conversation with Black Women. Today we're going to be talking about healthy resolutions, how we resolve issues in a healthy way. We're all about overall wellness. And most of the topics that we discuss have to do with being better people in a complete package type of way. So today we're going to discuss how to resolve concerns, how to have healthy resolutions. And this could be with your neighbor, with your best friend, with an intimate partner in your life, and with your children. But we need to have healthy resolutions as opposed to conflict and continual conflict and making matters worse. So let's introduce our cast of wonderful expert opinions here. So we can talk about this, starting with Miss Kiana.
Hi, my name is Kiana Rowe. I'm very happy to be here. I am Coffee and Conversations Program Manager. I'm also a public servant for a local law enforcement agency in the area.
Hi, I'm Ruby Davis, and I've been in the helping profession for many years. I'm a mom, and I'm glad to be here today.
And my name is Sharon Miller, and I'm a social worker for Coffee and Conversation, and I've been retired for 15 years this year. And I enjoy what we're doing with these podcasts and with Coffee and Conversation.
So I want to say that I also was in a law enforcement agency for 29 years and became a licensed and marriage family therapist. And I've seen a lot. I've been really trying to help people find their way. It's in my DNA. And now my focus more so is on our community, which I believe is struggling, maybe even more so than most communities. So today we're talking about healthy resolutions because we hear a lot in the community. I bet you everybody can pop off, right? We all
have our moment.
At a moment. So how do we pop off in a healthy way, ladies?
I think maturity. I think what I would have done at 20 or 30 or 40, I'm doing it differently at 60. And a lot of it has to do with how important is that the relationship or whatever it is.
That's true.
How important is that relationship to me? I may not have to even say nothing to you, just say, let it go. If they text me, if they call me, whatever, they'll get the message. I'm just not gonna return the call anymore. If it's a person that really means a lot to me, I'm gonna say, you know what, Kiana, I really care about our friendship. And we had our little beef, but I don't want to lose it. So what is it that we can do to resolve the issue so we can continue to love each other, be friends, and continue to do the things that we're doing?
Could you actually say to her, I don't want to lose our relationship?
Oh yeah. I've had to do that to male and female friends. Okay. I remember a male friend that I really thought we were friends. And I had to actually say, you know what? Man, you need to sit down and have a conversation because I thought you were my friend. And if you were my friend, then you wouldn't have done or said or whatever. You know, right now I can't even remember what it was, but I remember actually making that call. And I was ready to either get it back on board or end it completely. And that's where I was with it. Wow. You know, so to me, it just depends on the friendship. How important is that friendship to me? And if it's not as important to me as it is to that person, then I'm willing to let it go. And it's something about, you know, you can have relationships or friendships, you know, they're either going to be for a lifetime, you know, temporary or whatever. And I'm willing to accept that. And
is that healthy in your mind if you walk away?
It will be healthy depending upon how we ended it, I think.
So if we're ending a relationship, is that healthy, ladies?
If it's a toxic environment, if they make you stress a lot, or you have to be the one that, if you feel like you're the one giving all the time, sometimes separation is the best option. But I think back to what Sharon said about it takes maturity to have that conversation. A lot of times I just won't say anything. You know, when somebody makes me mad or I feel like there's a conflict, I just won't say anything. And, you know, I'll walk away and assess it before I try to pop off, you know, because it takes a lot of maturity to hold back from, you know, popping off or going off on somebody when there's a conflict, but I try to take a step back and think about the consequences. Because a lot of times in the past, in my younger years, I have not taken the time to assess the situation, and it explodes. It gets you in a worse position.
Right.
So I think, healthy resolutions of just stopping and thinking about the consequences is a big one.
Are there relationships that you just wouldn't end? Are there relationships that are, I don't know if it's blood, is it family, are there some that you would not just end? You said you can just walk away. Are there some that's like, okay, this is my daughter. I can't just say we're done. This is my insert whoever. Is there someone that you wouldn't end it with?
Well, I say no. I say if it's unhealthy for you, you should end the relationship, even if it's a marriage.
Right. Been there twice.
And
What about your son?
and my child.
Your son too?
My son too. My son and I, we took some years apart, and now we're coming back around to a more positive relationship.
I think the goal is not to do anything to make a situation worse than it is, or to make it go down a wrong road. So we want to find ways to resolve this particular thing. That doesn't mean that we can't sit back and take the time to figure out how to move forward, because they could be two separate parts of the issue. But at some point in this moment, it depends on what somebody does.
Right. I think that's major.
At some point in this moment, if there was something that I trusted you with, and I found out that you shared it, I have said before, and people who know me know that I do have boundaries. I think we all do. But just because I shared it with you doesn't mean these two know it. That's just how life works. And so I would be deeply concerned that you did that. And then that would lead me to believe that, well, I don't know if I could trust you moving forward. So we would have a conversation. And the moment you try to explain it or defend it, that might be a wrap for me.
Right.
Because what you need to do in a healthy resolution, because you might be the one on the end that's kind of getting kicked around a little bit because you hurt somebody. You need to be quiet and own it.
Yes.
That's also a part of it. Don't come up with a lie. Nobody cares why. It's like saying, well, let me tell you why I cheated with your husband. Like, I really want to know that. There's no explanation for these things.
No.
So it's being able to own your role in something. Being able to, it doesn't feel good to say, I did that because I felt like it.
Well, suppose it's not explained to you properly, and you're at a point where you don't know where the conflict is. How can you own something that you don't know?
We're talking about proper communication. Then I need to communicate it to you so you understand it. You can't even discuss something if you don't understand it. But what we're not doing is discussing things. I remember working with people, and you walk in one day, and the next day they're not speaking to you, and you're like, what did I do? and I even had somebody move out of my office. I went on vacation. Everything was fine. I came back, and I was in the office by myself. There wasn't nothing left in that office, but I thought, what happened? And I went to the boss, and I'm like, hey, where's Robert? I guess you're going to have to ask him. I'm like, oh my, right. He was somewhere right around there in another office, and I thought, so when I asked him, he's like, I don't want to talk about it. That was the weirdest thing in the world.
Did you ever find out?
Not really. No, I don't really know what happened. You then it leaves you to figure it out yourself. I think part of it was he thought that I was getting away with something that he didn't like, and so there was some personal stuff, some underlying things that I didn't know about because it was covered up, and I never knew. And that also happens with neighbors, with girlfriends. You ever had a girlfriend just disappeared on you?
Yeah.
Just gone. It's like
No explanation.
and then you have to wonder, was she really my friend, or was it what? Yeah. Just cold turkey.
Well, it seems like resolution means to me moving forward then. Like, I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think once we resolve it, because sometimes, like with Robert, maybe he didn't want to resolve. He's like, that's
that was
how
it.
he was.
Yeah,
It was
that
healthy
was
for
it.
him. I'm done.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah,
when
it
I
was
think
healthy
about,
for him.
when I think about, if I'm going to, we're talking about, you were talking about any kind of relationship. It's because I want to heal it or mend it and be able to hopefully move forward because we've resolved whatever that thing is and move forward. And so I think you have to decide, is this even worth like salvaging? First of all, is this worth me even wanting to resolve this? Because you said earlier, I can just walk away. I'll just assess it and maybe don't say a word about it. For me, that's difficult. I tend to just get mad, and then I don't give people the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
In my mind, I'm thinking their intent is really the way I received it. Like, you are just being unkind, being mean, whatever it is, when I think I should be thinking the opposite and giving people the benefit of the doubt
And
more.
that's why we have to.
And being like,
if you
they
can't
didn't mean that.
communicate why somebody is causing you some emotional harm, then that's a problem. And it's a problem for us, for our health. It's a problem for our families. It's a problem in our communities. We have to be able to say, I need to resolve this. I do believe that I am a person, I don't care who you are, if you ever sit down with me to discuss something that is meaningful to you and that you feel that I hurt you, I can have that conversation. Because I did not intend to. We may talk about some stuff that we don't like, and I'm not going to do this, well, you did, and that. I'm going to listen and we're going to talk about it. It really holds me accountable to be the best person I know how to be, so that I don't have that many conversations. Okay, but some people you try to talk to, and they will tell you that didn't happen. That's not true. It's ridiculous.
Right.
I know it happened. Okay, that's not true, and it bothers me that adults, if we can't even get this part right, how do we heal? How does the other person heal? I guess we have to learn to heal ourselves. We should be able to get this right.
Well, we're growing and maturing at different rates, therefore we're healing at different rates. So just because I feel better, I shouldn't expect you to feel better. It might take you a little longer to come around after a conflict.
Or I might never feel better. I mean, that's a thought too.
That's
I may never
possible,
feel
too.
better. I just may not like the way you flow anymore after that. So then I can say, as a part of a healthy resolution, well, thank you for having this conversation with me, Kiana, but I no longer choose to be a part of this relationship.
Exactly.
It's healthy for everybody.
Yeah.
And
And
then
a lot of it, like you said, it depends on what that situation is. And it depends on who that person is in your life. Because I had a situation with my daughter. She got to the point where she thought she can call me by my first name. And I wasn't having it. And it was just like, well, I'm going to always love you, but this is not what we're doing. And we went for it was over a year. Well, I didn't call her. I didn't have anything to say to her. Until you're ready to respect me, I have nothing to say to you. And I held on to that. And then we gradually, and now we gotten to the point where our conversations are better. We can support one another, but we had to move on. And we had to have those conversations where if this is something you cannot do, I'm okay with it, but you need to know. I'm not supporting it.
Yes.
And you have to have that like you said, that healthy resolution. And both people do, because like you said, you may love it, I may not, but it's okay for you to come back and say, you know what, I thought I could get past this, but I really can't. So I love you, I'll always be there for you, but our relationship has definitely changed.
well, I think it's about respect. It's about respecting others and respecting yourself.
Self, right.
The part of healthy resolution is I don't want to walk away from you and not explain how you made me feel, and I don't want to leave you not knowing this. Okay, it is not just a beat up session. We shouldn't think of it as that. Doesn't mean it's going to make the other person feel good, but it starts with personhood, the kind of person you are. I want to leave this. I want to give you closure, and I need my closure. If it's going to be a closure situation,
Right.
It may make us closer.
Well, is resolution then a two-person show? Like, to me, I feel like for one person to walk away, I don't feel like it's resolution. Like, I don't know. For me personally, I feel like I'm in relationship. Resolution is coming to
A compromise.
some kind of compromise where we're going to move on. If I'm having you talk about your daughter and you say, and it's like, I'm walking away, and if it never happened, if you guys never came to be again after a year, I don't think that's resolution at all. I feel like it's just, I put you down and we're done.
We have to define resolution. That's the
I
point.
think that's a big thing because I feel like
Yeah.
it should be a two-part show. Me,
Okay.
Sharon, I'm having conflict with you, Sharon. I don't want to have this conflict with you. How can we come to resolve this conflict
And
and be
move on.
in
Yeah.
community together still and be walking alongside? So that's so
But you
outside
can't
of
make that person resolve it. You have to
In the same way.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I know. I just
My
don't
way of
feel like-
resolving it was different from her way of resolving it. You have to have, how can I say, you have to allow that person to be able to resolve that issue the best way they can, because she still had to come back. There was other things that made her feel that it was okay for her to be there, and even want to call me by my first name. So somewhere down the road, you lost respect for me being
Right.
your mother. So let's talk about that, because
Right.
you didn't get there just overnight. I'm 30, I'm grown, I can call you. No, something brought you there. And that's a conversation we had to even continue to have that conversation.
Yes, that's a
Right.
point
So
too.
other
It's
stuff
about
brings
trust and
people
respect.
to that place.
Yes, it's trust, respect, and everything. It's a big deal. So know that in healthy resolution, it could be compromise. But if somebody has let it go too far, where you no longer even really respect the person, then likely the resolution is going to be, you know, you don't. I'm not going to overlook the good, but the scale shows me that the negative outweighs the good, and there's nothing really to work to fix.
Right.
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, it's just the way we. What I do know is that there should be, for our own well-being, just to take care of us, meaning no one any ill will. There should be no one we cannot walk away from, and that's sad because that would include our children. What that could mean is we're going to have a different type of relationship. I'm always going to keep my distance from this person,
Yeah.
so that I can protect myself from
Exactly.
them. So if, I may be the one that says, "Oh, my daughter needs something," and I may be able to be the one who can send her what she needs and not ever even talk about it.
Right.
That too.
Okay, Leon, here's $200 or whatever it is, and just. But
Well, then I feel
you
like
know.
we're just. I feel
Putting a
like we're just
Band-Aid on it.
existing. Like I don't feel like we're in a relationship.
With that-
like,
well,
we're not
with
in
that
a
person
relationship
you
to
are.
me.
And,
You're
Like,
just
and that
existing.
might
I mean,
happen.
I don't know.
That might be
and,
what
and
it
it's
is.
okay
Maybe what
if
it
we
is.
do, but I
Yeah.
just don't think that is. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like it's resolution.
Well,
It's a
you-
tough one for me to.
I think
it's
you
a tough
wanted
one
to
for
have
me
a
to.
happy ending, huh?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
both of us really agreeing on how to move forward. And I suppose if moving forward is we're no longer friends, but it just seems like inherently when I think of resolution and healthy resolution, it means inherently being in community again. That's how I'm.
Right,
so
right.
it's difficult for me. I can't think of anything that I know we're talking about my children. I can't think of anything they could do that would really make me in the relationship. Like even if it'd be difficult. I mean, it's. I know.
I'm not saying
I'm like,
that we
unless
all
you
wanna
stab
end
me
it,
in the neck, and
but
like, but I
think
can't.
there are
I'm like,
things.
I'm
but
just.
you know what
but
the
the
resolution?
resolution-
The hurt though could be so deep. As as you get older,
Oh, yeah.
people can hurt you so deeply, even your children,
You
that can
can't
make you go like
see.
this.
Yeah, and my brother. I mean,
Yeah.
I think about my brother, and he's done some things, and I'm sure I've done some things to him, but I just can't. I'm like, what, it's my brother. At the very when it's all done, I'm like, it's my brother, and as long as not, and I tell him, and I'm like, listen, don't, and we're gonna be
Right. But see, you haven't had that thing.
You maybe.
There is a
Maybe.
thing.
Then you have that resolution. Could the resolution be we're going to respect each other? We're going to be cordial to each other. You know,
Yeah.
if you feel like wanting to, let's get together and go to lunch, we're going to do those things, because there are certain topics that me and my daughter will not get into.
There you go. That's
You
what
know,
you do. It changes the
and that's the
relationship.
It changes the
parameter, and that's
relationship,
okay,
but
but
that's
you're still
okay.
in relationship. Do you know what I mean? Like you're still,
Right.
But you're still in
communing.
it.
Yeah,
You're just
like,
in it in
if
a
that's
different
what you need.
in a different way. Because as our children, I mean, you have young daughters right now. Those young girls are going to be very
Women.
mature women, and they're going to be different from these little girls. You know
Yes,
that we had.
yes,
Both of my
yeah.
daughters are totally different.
Right.
You know, from young women, and I have to deal with each one of them. I mean, they're
Right.
like 34 and 32, and I still have this thing. Y'all can't be drinking around me. they grown women.
They don't care about that.
And they be
know.
looking at me like, Mom, we're grown.
Right,
And they have to click
right.
for me.
You
because
know-
I don't do that in front of my mom. My mom's 88.
Right. But see, I don't even have. I don't know what. But drinking around my mother
just
wouldn't be
saying
a problem
something
for me.
simple.
You know.
Right.
But I think
I
what
get
this
it.
conversation begs is that we be good people.
Yeah.
Yes.
This
yes.
it comes back to how we conduct ourselves,
Right.
and how we treat
An
people.
example.
So that we have relationships that we don't want to end, and if they get to that point where they're very challenged, we have something to work back towards.
Right.
You know, but
Right.
if you tolerate something too long, or if you are just a person that I'm putting up with you. Been putting up with you for 10 years. You know you don't keep your word. You know you never come through. You know you owe me money. I'm just saying.
Right.
Okay. And finally one day I'm like, okay, listen, can we talk? And you acting like, well, I don't know why we can't move on.
Yeah.
Maybe I just don't care anymore to be bothered with you.
Right.
I'm just saying, let's be real.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to talk about you. Here's the resolution for me. I'm not, when your name comes up, hey,
Right.
that was my girl, woo, woo, woo. People ask questions. I'm like, I don't even get into that. My resolution is that I'm going to be well. I'm doing this to be well.
Well, I think the important thing too that you mentioned, because is being able to articulate your needs, in this relationship, and so not letting things go for so long. to
That's
where it's
part
like,
of it,
It's like,
yes.
okay, that bothered me. We need to stop, and not checking everything. They can't even breathe.
No,
They're
I
gonna
know.
be,
Right, right.
But
You're right.
Saying,
You're right.
hey, that is something that really kind of cut me. Like that I don't. That's not a thing. And so I think it's important that we're able to own it and check people, not pop off, but just check people.
Not
Like,
pop
hey,
off.
that's not cool.
Because
and
you
then
can
we
really pop off, but pop off in a way in which you're not being disrespectful,
Right,
you're not
right.
cursing, you're not calling them out their name, you're not doing that. So you're just really letting them know how you feel, and this makes you angry. And you can show those expressions and be expressive in that way without being rude.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
if a person comes to me and they say, well, you know what, and I'm sick and tired of you, blah 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 blah. All I'm saying is now I'm going to be defensive.
Right.
It's like,
Look,
hold
and
up.
that can't happen
And-
either.
and that can't happen
If you're going to have
So
Right.
that's not,
Right.
that's going to make, like you said, it's going to make the situation worse.
So since we have to wrap up, the whole ideal of healthy resolution is being good people and being good communicators.
Right.
Being able to be transparent, being able to own behavior that we know we participated in that wasn't the best behavior,
Right.
and valuing the relationship. I don't care if it's a work or a friendship or a neighbor. You have to
Right.
value the relationships. But I think it just boils down to understanding what it takes to be a healthy person. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
And so moving forward, we want to be those women who are healthy in our relationships, who understand that we need to communicate, not argue. We need to resolve, not exacerbate. That's the bottom line. And I want to say now, because we have to wrap it up, I want to thank you all for this
Oh,
for
you're
this topic,
welcome.
and we'll see you again. Thanks for watching Coffee and Conversation.
Thanks for having me.